I'm not playing around. Get out of the car.
What is this? Oh, chill out. Yo, for what? What did I do? Oh.
Stop.
What the? Yo, what the?
Hey there friends, Tantarina, Vicky here, whatever you'd like to call me. I am a school behavior intervention specialist with 15 years experience working with students on de-escalation, conflict resolution, and teaching them social skills. Social skills are those pesky little things that you probably should have learned when you were a child, but not all of us did. Some of us needed those refreshers. I'm going to take my experience and we're going to do it in a body-worn camera breakdown. Today is Tuesday. That means it's 2 Takes Tuesday. Today I'm going to use another officer's reaction to a video, and we're going to break down the de-escalation standpoint of it and the social skill standpoint while he breaks down the tactics. Today's video comes to us from Sergeant Curtis, one of my favorites, such a great tactical officer, and this is called the fastest window break in police history.
I'm not playing around. Get out of the car.
What is this? Oh, chill out.
I can't think of any point that I would be wanting to make on a traffic stop to a police officer worth me losing my driver's side window. However, every day videos pop up on the internet of people willing to make that sacrifice. This is one of those.
Roll down your back window.
Why you got gun out?
Roll down your back window.
Why is the gun out?
Because you weren't pulling over. Roll down your back window now.
I didn't see you.
I always hated approaching vehicles with super dark tinted windows because you can't see anything that's inside. It's always a super dangerous situation.
Roll down your back window. Roll down your back window.
You can't see the car. The tint is way too dark. Just roll the back window down.
Okay, so the initial officer is being much more tactical about this. The secondary officer who walked up to the passenger side window is being much more of a de-escalator. He's explaining why the initial officer has their gun out. Having your gun out at the beginning of a traffic stop is always going to immediately escalate the situation. That doesn't mean that what the officers are doing is wrong. It sounded like the officer said that the gentleman didn't stop, and that usually results in some sort of felony or high-risk traffic stop. So that would be why that officer is approaching like that, but it's always going to escalate.
Just roll the back window down first.
Look at where the passenger side officer has to stand in order to see inside the vehicle. It completely exposes him to potential gunfire if there is something that happens with the driver or one of the unseen potential passengers inside of the car. That super dark tint, bad move.
Can't see anything in the back of the car. Is there anybody back there? Okay, let's roll the windows down before we break them. How does that sound then?
Listen,
I can't
I'm
see
going to
the
pull you
car.
out of the car if you don't roll your back window down.
Why not doing
What are you doing?
You're doing too much.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Sir, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Oh, you got two. You can take in the car, please.
Get out of the car.
Alright, there's not compliant. Roll the windows off. So won't get out of the vehicle.
Get out of the car.
So when you watch these videos, it's really important to try to listen to what the radio traffic is that the officer and the dispatcher are saying. He's describing to the dispatcher, we got a non-compliant, rolled up the windows. Other units now hear that stuff and they're gonna start rolling to this, knowing that they're gonna need some assistance because they might have to do an extraction. Radio ears are really important.
I'm telling you, get out of the car.
What?
Because I said so. Get out of the car.
Why you want?
Because you're not complying with me. Get out of the car right now. Get out.
So at this point, again, officer's not doing anything wrong. They are tactically concerned about what potential dangers could be in that car. So the officer's adrenaline's up. He did the thing that all the parents do, you know, because I said so. Not the best answer because people don't tend to respond well to that. But, and then telling the subject he's not being compliant. Neither one of those are great explanations. Not that the officer needs to necessarily give the subject an explanation here, but de-escalation wise, if you're using that as your strategy to try to get the gentleman out of the car, maybe explaining a little bit of what's going on. Sir, we can't see inside your vehicle. It's a danger to us. We just need you to step out so we know everybody's safe. That might work, but in an escalated situation like this where everybody's already escalated, probably not going to be the tactics that the officers use because they want to stay safe and they want to make sure that the community's safe. That being said, our subject has some social skills that he's already not showing, which would be following directions. He didn't pull over for the officer and he's not rolling down the windows for the officer. I think should he have just immediately used that social skill, we would have a much different video.
Oh,
What's the reason why?
because I'm conducting. Get out of the car. I'm not explaining anything else. Get out of the car. Bro, I'm just gonna break the window. All right, I'm breaking your window. No, I'm not. I'm breaking your window.
Yes, you is.
How much you want to bet?
Break the window, you paying for it.
I'm gonna break your window, sir.
Yeah, you gonna pay for it.
Okay. Sir, you need to get out of the car. I'm going to break your window.
What is the problem?
I'm going to break your window. Get out of the car. I'm going to break your window.
What did I do?
I'm going to break your window. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. I'm not playing around. Get out of the car.
What is the... Oh, chill out, bro. Chill out. Why are you doing it?
Get out.
Now.
Get out of the car.
Yo, chill out, bro. Chill.
His gun hand is what he uses to breach the window. Then he reaches inside the vehicle to unlock the door, completely exposing himself while the suspect has not been checked. There could be weapons inside the car. We clearly saw that there were tinted windows, and he's now completely exposed to the suspect. This is something that in debriefing, they got to talk about, because there has to be a safer way for them to enter this vehicle without the officer making that degree of exposure of himself, his head, and his upper torso.
Yo, for what? What did I do? Oh.
Stop.
What the? Yo, what the? Yo, nah, bro, nah.
On the ground.
Yo, what the? Did I? Yo, help me! Help me!
Stop grabbing my hand. Stop grabbing my hand. You
Help
understand?
me! Help me! Help me! I didn't. Yo, help me!
Bro, you got drugs on you. Stop
No,
moving.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I promise I don't. Bro.
Look at this kid over here on the bicycle with the phone recording this incident. Let's talk about optics real briefly. We saw what preceded him being taken into custody and screaming, "Help me, help me, help me" on the streets. But who knows what that video is going to go up on the internet. If that video from that kid goes up on the internet, this appears to be 4 white police officers attacking an unarmed black man who's screaming, "Help me" in the middle of the street. We see this narrative played out over and over and over again. So when you make judgment, when you see some of these videos, think about the fact that there could be more video that preceded what you're seeing that was posted on TikTok, Instagram, or whatever else it is that you've been watching.
Yeah, record the whole.
You're not going to leave. We're going to need that for evidence.
Yeah, bro, don't. Bro, record the whole.
Yeah, we will.
Record the whole thing. Bro, I look. Yo.
No, get in the car.
Hi, Mr. Taylor.
What happened, man? I pulled over right here, so I didn't look at that. So then, he walking up to my car with a gun. Like, he didn't point it, but he got it out. And I was telling him to put the gun away. He put the gun away. Never was really trying to tell me why he pulled me over. So I didn't hop out the car. He told me he got the car. I never got out the car. They broke my window, pulled me out the car, doing all types of car about to get towed, all this other.
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because your car's getting towed because it's uninspected. So we have to tow it because of that. It's not roadworthy per the state of New York.
When did it expire?
I'd have to go look. But it comes up that it's expired. Why'd you put your window up? Why didn't you talk to him?
No, I was, but he never told me. I asked him. He told me to get out the car. I said, "What?" He said, "Just get out." Like, he wasn't trying to give me no reason. Like, why would I just get out? I've been before you. I got pulled over 10 times. They asked me for my license. He never asked me for my license, so I didn't get out the car. So he broke my window.
Okay. All right. But you had your window up?
Yeah, and my sunroof was up. Like, when you.
I'm just asking, why wouldn't you? Because you've been
Because
told.
he had a gun. That's the reason why. Why would I roll up my window if he got a gun out?
Well, that way you guys can talk.
My window was broke. It was cracked. Like, it was cracked.
All right. Are you okay? I mean, I see. They tell me you don't even have a record.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
This escalated quickly. Can I give you a tip next time? Next time an officer, just put your window down and talk to him. You know what I mean?
You don't understand, bro. No, I'm not even trying to be funny though, but y'all not black, man. You don't understand. I get pulled over like almost every other day. So I had this conversation.
So probably before you put down your window then, right?
Yes, but
because you wouldn't have a bad shot window.
It's not my first time doing what he did. It's not my first time either.
Okay.
I done been on the both sides.
Well, they got some paperwork to do, and then they're going to get you out of here. All right? You're not going to jail. You didn't do anything to go to jail. It's all appearance ticket or whatever. So, you good though? You're straight? All right. I hope your day gets better from here. I hope this is the worst part of your week, sir. Take care. God bless you.
Okay, you see the bars. We see we got a lieutenant and we didn't get a sergeant, so no sergeant shutdown. Although sergeant shutdown is a mode, it's not a person. Lieutenant was super duper nice to the guy. Lieutenants are often going to be a lot nicer than the sergeant's going to be at the scene, and I'm not opposed to people being nice. However, I just feel that this is a little bit strange that to the degree of force that was necessary, that he was just given such a sweet bow on top of his behavior. Again, I'm not saying they should have beaten the guy or anything like that, but I don't know what the remediation is.
Here's your phone. Listen, that never.
So I think what Sergeant Curtis said there was very precise and very exact. Like, this gentleman obviously could be going to jail for obstruction, for, you know, it would be resisting without violence, those types of things. The subject is correct, though. The officer didn't ask for his ID, but the officer didn't know what he was walking up to. And you have to remember that about officers. They don't know what they're walking up to. A traffic stop every time is different. So if you have super dark tinted windows, they're probably going to ask you to roll them down. It just means that they want to see in the vehicle and make sure that everybody's good and there's no threats. So if the gentleman had just rolled down the windows, complied, none of this would have happened. They're being awfully nice to him. The lieutenant was definitely much more in a de-escalation mode than the officers were. But I think just having that time in the back of the cruiser for our subject was a way to get him to kind of de-escalate and come down. Having a weapon pulled out, even if it's not aimed at you, can be something that's scary. And I understand that, and I understand that that's probably part of the reason why the subject acted the way he did. We don't see what happens before the stop, but the officer said that the subject wouldn't pull over, and that's why it became kind of a high-risk traffic stop. But making sure that you just comply with the officers, you won't end up on videos like this.
To get to that point, right? I'm not going to try to beat a dead horse here, but you you have to comply with our orders when in that situation, okay?
I get my book bag.
Yeah, right on top. Yeah, I gave him his phone.
This blows my mind. This is definitely an East Coast type thing where they give them these desk appearance tickets. A lot of times it happens at the station. This would not happen in Vegas. A subject barricades inside of a vehicle. You have to break the window out, use force to take them into custody, and you have those other traffic charges that they mentioned to stop them initially. That person is going to end up going to jail because the judge is going to have to make a decision if they're going to be released or when they get released or what their bond is. Because what happens is this emboldens a lot of times people to behave in this manner. And I'm not saying that jail is supposed to be the police officer's way to make things punitive. But what happens also is that this kid who made the video of this whole incident, the cops are on this guy yelling, "Help me," and then he walks away. It looks like he didn't do anything wrong, maybe. The criminal justice system is very different all around the country, and I'm not saying I have it 100% right. In the comment section, wherever you're from, Australia, England, Canada, whatever state you're from, let me know how this would have been handled in your jurisdiction, because I can tell you, in my 20 plus years in Vegas, this young man would have been in jail, and he would have had to answer for them not walking away from this.
I think Sergeant Curtis had a lot of great things to say about this video and about what was going on. Again, he is a very tactical officer, and it's wonderful to see an officer's perspective from that aspect. And that's why I love watching Sergeant Curtis. From the de-escalation standpoint, I think there was the hindrance of having the weapon already drawn by the officer is what caused the escalation, and it was not going to get any better the way things were going. The officers were on high alert because they didn't know what was in the vehicle, and the gentleman didn't stop. The gentleman was on high alert because the officers came out with a weapon, and the gentleman did happen to be black. I don't think that this had anything to do with race. Obviously, I'm not there, so I couldn't guarantee that. But that being said, Sergeant Curtis, dead on with the thought of the video and the optics of the situation, those types of things. And so I think he did a great job. The officers definitely were not in de-escalation mode. Lieutenant did a great job. Good job, LT. And our subject really, I think the only social skill that he was lacking there was following directions. He didn't really lose control of his emotions. He didn't seem to have a hard time accepting his consequences. He took his citation and had no problem with that. He didn't seem to know that his plates were expired, which I think was the initial reason for the stop. So maybe the education of himself, maybe he's new to New York and didn't know that that was the way that New York operates, because different states operate different ways. But overall, I think the subject mostly did what he needed to do, social skills wise. The officers were just on high alert. I think this just happened to be one of those stops that, because of the totality of the circumstances, both sides could have done better, yes, but I think that for what both sides' perspective was, I think what they did was justified on their end. The officers were scared that there might be a weapon in the car because the gentleman didn't stop. The gentleman was scared because the officers had a weapon drawn. And that was just the perspective of the thing. So let me know what you thought of this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, friends.